On today's Strictly Vikings, players are back at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, and we're going to talk. Aaron Jones talked, Byron Murphy talked, KOC talked, and we're going to talk about all what they had to say about last season, this upcoming season, where JJ's at. Of course, we're gonna dissect it all. We'll go through some other news and notes from around the NFL as well, and it is the night before the NFL draft. So we will do one final mock draft. I'm not going to mess it up this time, and then we'll go from there. Let's get right into it. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, and the draft is one sleep away. I don't know if it was just me. I think all kids count down like sleeps. How many more sleeps do I have until this? That's me with the NFL draft. I've been counting down. And if you're listening to this on Wednesday, we are one sleep away. If you're listening to on Thursday, congratulations, we've made it. And the Minnesota Vikings will make their selection tonight. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe they'll trade back. We'll see what happens. And I'll kind of express what I want to happen, I guess, but before the mock draft here. Anyway, we got some players back at TCO. Let's see what they have to say. But first, we have to start with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers said he would play for $10 million. He went on the Pat McAfee show on last Wednesday when this podcast dropped, so we didn't get any of that content on the show. However, he said he would play for $10 million. So that obviously gets rid of the rumor that he wanted a lot more money. Probably one of the reasons the Vikings didn't want him is because of how much money he wanted. But now, obviously, he's willing to pay for 10. And even with that, even with the Vikings knowing that, they're still going JJ McCarthy. And I think that shows a lot about the confidence they have in McCarthy and moving forward. And I think that should give Vikings fans a lot of confidence as well. If they didn't have the utmost confidence that JJ McCarthy can lead this team to the playoffs and win games in the playoffs, they would have signed Aaron Rodgers already. They haven't. So they have confidence in him without even playing a snap, and they're ready to hand the keys over to JJ, and I'm looking forward to it. Aaron Jones has been grinding this offense. He trains at the facility. He goes home and gets some stuff, and then he can train at the facility again after already being, sorry, there's a dog outside my window that I'm getting distracted by. He trains at the facility, goes home, gets more treatment, then goes back to the facility. I mean, this dude is grinding. He saw a league high in touches last season, and I can imagine that did some wear and tear on his body. But all the stuff that we've been hearing about Aaron Jones this offseason, that he's been putting in the work, he's been grinding, he's so excited to be back in Minnesota. This is where he wanted to be. And he's extremely happy to be back with the Minnesota Vikings. Exciting stuff from Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones said age is just a number. I've been saying the same thing since I was a little kid trying to get older girls. That's what Aaron Jones had to say. Age is really just a number. True. In some cases, not in every case. Byron Murphy still isn't over the playoff loss from last season. I'm not either. It's good to hear this. It's good to hear that obviously the Vikings had very high expectations last season, but it's like you want your players to care. You want losses like that to sit with them so they can remember what it was that happened, that what that feeling was like. They don't want that feeling to happen again. And they're going to do anything and everything in their power to make sure it doesn't happen again. So him saying that the loss is still sitting in there, brewing, not maybe giving him the best feeling. It's good to hear. KOC said Darrisaw is progressing well and loves what he's seen so far. Obviously recovering from that ACL tear. Good stuff to hear. There's been some videos online of him training. Looks great. Sounds great. Looks like he's going to be ready to go for the start of next season. KOC also said JJ is ready to hit the ground running. Awesome stuff. We already kind of touched on JJ, but good to hear his injury is progressing well. I mean, all things seem to be up for JJ McCarthy this season. Dante Culpepper is excited for McCarthy to get going as well. It's good to have the support of previous Vikings quarterbacks. whether Dante Culpepper is up there with the best of them. He was obviously around for some pretty successful seasons, but it's good to have former players and coaches be ready for this guy, and they're excited to see what he has to do. So Jay Ward will wear number 24. It's going to be weird for a couple weeks seeing another number 24 out there. He's not going to be doing the celebrations. Harrison Smith also said he will not be joining Josh Metellus on the celebrations. No surprise there. They should make it. The Wolves should honestly put a bonus in Harrison Smith's contract. Be like, if you do the celebrations with Josh Metellus, we'll give you X amount of dollars. X blank amount of celebrations equals blank amount of money. 5 celebrations equals $500K. No, that's an extreme amount. $50K. Why not? I mean, more social posts, helps out the morale of the team, the stadium. Why not? It's something to think about, Wolves. Something to think about. I know you guys are avid Strictly Vikings listeners. Vikings have been named for a possible Kirk Cousins suitor. And I think the thing that I think about this is like, just because you want a girlfriend doesn't mean you're going to get with your ex. Just because the Vikings need a quarterback doesn't mean we should go sign Kirk Cousins. I think that's a lot of not bad blood, but just weird vibes if Kirk Cousins were to come back. Like, JJ's the starter. Kirk Cousins still wants to lead this team. It's a lot of the same guys he was playing with. It would just be odd, different. Don't think it's the best move for the Vikings that they could make. Harrison Smith. There's a foundation that's been set, but there's another level we need to get to, aka win a Super Bowl. Harrison Smith has been here for the long haul. I mean, so much so he played in the Dome. And he's seen it all. I mean, he's been to an NFC Championship game, got ran. He's been on 2 13-win teams, 12-win teams, lost in the first round. It's been rough for Harrison Smith. He's lost in the divisional round. He's done it all. He's done it all except get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, obviously. And I honestly think he's sticking around because he thinks the Vikings have a chance to do it this season. Do the Vikings have a better chance of doing it this upcoming season than they did last? Honestly, yeah. I don't think they're going to win as many games, but I think they have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl this season than they did last year. There's not as many question marks on the roster this upcoming season than there was last year. The schedule is harder, but the harder the schedule is during the regular season, as long as you make it to the playoffs, you're ready to play those playoff caliber teams. The Vikings didn't have a lot of competition on their schedule last season. They got a lot more this season. And Jordan Mason will wear number 27. Last worn by Cam Akers. So when we sign Cam Akers in the middle of the season, what is he possibly going to wear? Is my question. I don't know what it's going to be. J-Ron Curse and Fred Smoot also wore number 27. Jordan Mason will be wearing it for the Minnesota Vikings this upcoming season. All right, let's look around the side. I look around the league here. This is the closest to the draft we have ever been without a first-round pick being traded. This is suiting up for a very interesting draft. Why has there been no first-round picks traded? Because I think there's so much uncertainty of what the Titans, Browns, Giants are going to do at the top of the draft. Titans, I think, are locked. Cam Ward. Browns, Giants. 2 teams that desperately need quarterbacks. What they do at the top of the draft, I think that's what's not causing the trades. And this is just another thing too, is that if you're trading up to 2nd overall, 3rd overall, that's not a thing you do at the night of the draft. That's a thing that takes place before the draft begins, a couple days before. And the fact that we haven't seen one trade is kind of suspect. You would think there would at least be one, but there's not. And that just seems odd. I do think there are going to be some trades on draft night, but I think you're going to see more action. I think Rich Eisen said this. You're going to see more action in the last 10 picks of the first round than you will the first 10. I think teams will try and get back into the first round, and that's where I think the Vikings could be possible suitors to move back into the second and collect some more picks. But it is just kind of odd. I'll get into more of what I kind of want the Vikings to do in the draft in a little bit here. Raiders GM said he believes in taking running backs high in the draft. So welcome Ashton Genty to the Las Vegas Raiders. Unless someone jumps the Raiders, I honestly think they will draft him. Pete Carroll, they want to run the ball. Best player available. He'll put asses in the seats. It's a guy you can market around. I think that's a really good pick. I think Ashton Genty's awesome. I think he's going to be so good in the NFL. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone jumps the Raiders and gets Genty. Rams are going to do their draft from Los Angeles Fire Department. Pretty sick. All the wildfires that went on there. Of course, it was all during like the Vikings playoff game. They moved it to Arizona. And if the Rams draft, they have pick 26. If they draft a freaking stud in the first round and they're at the fire department and they drafted them, like that's going to be awesome. They're going to remember that for a very long time. Say that. And then Cam Jurgens got paid 4 years, $68 million. It's a lot of money for a center. Probably well worth it, especially with the tush push in Philadelphia there. So let's get in. Before we start the mock draft here, I think I'm going to go through what I kind of want the Vikings to do. The Vikings put themselves in a situation to where they can draft the best player available. They're not drafting for one position. They're not drafting, we don't need any defensive lineman, offensive lineman, safety, corner. Like there's not one of those that's just pressing. We need that. And we need to draft that at 24. And that's what needs to happen. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the Vikings did a great job setting themselves up for this position in free agency, signing offensive linemen, signing defensive linemen, signing a corner, re-signing your safety. I think the Vikings did a great job. And that gives you a lot of flexibility in the draft. Personally, I would love to trade with the Browns or the Giants, who have the, I believe, 33rd and 34th pick. And if they want to trade up back into the first round, get their quarterback of the future, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, maybe Shador slides all the way down, they can do that. They can trade up with the Vikings. And I think the Vikings sitting there at 24, I don't think there's any other team behind them that is willing to trade out. So I think the Texans, Rams, Ravens, Lions, Commanders, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles are all going to pick there. Leaving to where the Vikings would be a great suitor if you just want to get back into the first round. I want to collect more picks. I want picks in the second round because I feel like second round picks this year, you're going to be drafting some first round players, and that would be huge for the Vikings when they have a league low 4 picks in this year's draft. That's kind of where I'm at. If we stay at 24, I would love to see a guy like Derek Harmon, Gray Zabel, some of the guys we've highlighted on this show the last couple of weeks. Any of those guys, I would love to see be in a Vikings uniform. And I think that would be a pretty successful draft if that happened. So without further ado, let's just get into the mock draft here. We're going to pull it up. So you can see the settings here, public versus PFF board. We're going a little bit more public. I think I'm going to go a little bit more PFF because I think let's go right in the middle, public PFF, care for positional values right below the middle, draft for needs right below the middle, randomness is less. We're just going to go with these settings. It really, like the top 10 picks don't really affect us because those guys are not going to be available no matter what. And I'll just kind of talk through the picks as we go. I have it on slow right now and I can pause it if I want. So Abdul Carter went 1. Travis Hunter went 2. Giants drafted Ashton Genty at 3, which could honestly happen. Mason Graham at 4. Jags draft McMillan at 5. There was a mock draft that had McMillan going to the Vikings. Membo went 6. Cam Ward went 7 to the Jets. Will Campbell went 8 to the Panthers. Jahdae Barron. So there is a guy. I'm going to pause it right here. Jahdae Barron. There's a guy that the Vikings could have at pick 24. Obviously, he went to pick 9. That stuff happens in the NFL draft. Where guys are mocked by these, NFL draft experts, that doesn't mean they're going to be around. Jahdae Barron could be mocked to the Vikings, and he could literally go 9th overall. That's the thing that could happen in the draft. The Bears are going to select Malachi Starks, another guy that the Vikings could be interested in. Mike Green goes to the 49ers. Colston Loveland goes to the Cowboys. Jahad Campbell goes to the Dolphins. Tyler Warren goes to the Colts. I like that. Donovan is the edge rusher from BC went 15 to the Cardinals. Will Johnson went to the Falcons. Will Johnson went to the Cardinals. Josh Simmons went to the Bengals. Kelvin Banks went to the Seahawks. Kenneth Grant went to the Bucks. That's a guy I would love the Vikings to draft if he's available at pick 24. So now we got 4 more picks before us. Emeka Ibuka went. Walter Nolan went. This is kind of where the defensive linemen are coming off. Luther Burden went. And Omarion Hampton went to Green Bay. That pick doesn't make a lot of sense, but oh well. Packers aren't very good at drafting anyway. So now there's a lot of D linemen left, and there's a lot of corners left. So honestly, I'm going to see who wants to trade. And I honestly am comfortable trading, out of the first round. But I want to see. So I think I see the next available teams interested in the pick are Saints at pick 40. I don't think I want to drop that low. I honestly think I'd go to 31 with the Chiefs. Let's see if the Browns want to trade up. You give me 33. I'll give you 24. They're not interested. Okay, so maybe it just won't work if I don't trade with a team that is interested. So let's go Buffalo Bills, pick 30. Give me 30. I'll give you 24. Give me 56. Give me 62. All right, accepted. We got pick 30 and pick 62. They got pick 24. We'll move back 6 spots, and we got a second rounder. I would be very happy if the Vikings did that. Bills drafted Jalon Walker, a guy the Vikings wouldn't have drafted. Mikael Williams, Matthew Golden. So a lot of these guys could still be here that we wanted. Trey Amos, Gray Zabel went to the Lions. So they're literally all of the guys we would have drafted at 24 are still there. I'm going to see if we can trade back even more. 37. Do I want to move back 7 spots? Honestly, wouldn't mind that. I honestly think there's more than 5 guys that I like, and I don't think they're all going to go next. Give me 68. Why not? 12% chance of being accepted? All right. Gave it a shot. What if we give them 139? Nope. What if we gave them a 4th rounder next year? Nope. 139 and a 4th rounder next year. Oh my God. I just want the pick. All right. We maybe gave up a little bit more. We gave him a 4th, a 5th, pick 30 and 139. We got 37 and 68. Who cares? I want more picks just for the sake of this mock draft. If that's not a good trade, it's not a good trade. All right. Shamar Stewart went. Nick Skirton went. James Pierce, Benjamin Morrison, Shador Sanders went to the Giants, 34. See, that's where I think they would trade up. Derek Harmon went. That would have been a great pick I wanted. And Maxwell Harrison went. Okay. We got some guys. We got some guys available here. So we got pick 37, and we're going to pick at 62 and 68. We're in the second round, pick 37. I honestly like Siobhan Ravel, first corner out of East Carolina, big guy. Could see going him. Could go Darius Alexander, defensive lineman from Toledo. And I honestly think I'm going to go him. And he reminds me a little bit of Chris Jones a little bit. So I think we're going to go him at 37. Why not? And we're going to speed this up a little bit just because we're not going to wait until we're going to get to where the Vikings pick again. So all of these guys going in the second round, there's a lot of great options in the second round. So now here's our other pick in the second round. All right, we got Andrew Makuba, who I love. Safety, I love. I honestly might just end up picking him. Nick Eamon-Wari is in the second round. Yeah, I think I'm going to take him because that's a safety that I love too. And I think he's a great fit for the Vikings. And we've talked about him on here. I'm going to go with him. Now we got pick 68 in the third. We could go Tate Ratledge, guard. That would be a great fit for this defense or for this offense. We could go Shamar Turner, interior defensive lineman. We already got one. Maybe we'll stretch it out. You know what? Let's go Tate Ratledge. Round 3, pick 4, get our starting guard. Let him compete maybe. But I think we're hitting most of what the Vikings want. We got the secondary. We got the interior defensive line. Let's go guard. We could go corner here. We could go Thomas from Florida State. I think he would be a good pick. But honestly, I just think Tate Ratledge is just the better way to go. So now we're going to wait. We're going to go to pick 97 here. I'll speed it up so we can get there. So we're going to be round 3, pick 97, another third-round pick. This is the comp pick. We could go Jalen Milroe. We could go Dorian Strong from Virginia Tech. Evan Neal, halfback from Kansas. Honestly, like Dorian Strong. I've been drafting him a lot around this pick, around this area in the draft. And I think that's the one thing the Vikings need. So we're going to go corner. We got one more pick, 187. Our picks right now are Darius Alexander, Nick Emanwari, Tate Ratledge, and Dorian Strong. All the hits that the Vikings have needed. And now pick 187. You're shooting in the dark. Take a shot on someone. Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, any of these guys, honestly, if the Vikings draft a quarterback, why not? Ja Joyner from the U of M. Let's go with the U of M guy. Why not? All right, let's see what our grade is. I'm interested to see. I would love this draft if this is what the Vikings left with. I'm honestly very high on Darius Alexander. I think he's one hell of an athlete. He is older, but that means you're going to get production from him right away, not have to wait around. All right, let's see what they say. It's probably going to give me a bad draft. Yeah, B, bottom 29%. Hey, Nick Emanwari, A. Darius Alexander was a C+. Don't really care, though. Love that pick. Tate Ratledge, Dorian Strong, Ja Joyner, D, whatever. This is an example of what could really happen. I mean, the Vikings only drafted 5 guys. They gave up some future picks, but trading back, selecting more guys in the later rounds of the draft, that is the high possibility for the Minnesota Vikings this season. So don't be surprised if it happens. And if they stay put at 24, maybe they trade their third rounder, get some more 4th and 5ths. Maybe they trade some future picks for a guy that they like in the 2nd or 3rd. Honestly, it's not as hyped up of a draft as it was last year just because of the quarterback position. But it's also very exciting because we don't really know what the Vikings are going to do. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do come Thursday. Anyway, it was a good episode. Good mock draft. We didn't mess it up. And I appreciate you guys for tuning. Oh, ChatGPT player of the game. We forgot about that. All right. Think of your most random Vikings fan for me real quick. I feel like I'm going to get it today. All right. Name the most, if I can type, name the most random Vikings player you can think of. I'm going to go, I feel like I always say the same guy. I'm going to go Eric Decker. Nope, never played. That's U of M. I saw him play at the Metrodome. That's why I thought of him. I'm going to go Greg Jennings. How about Ontario Smith? Oh, the Wizinator, the guy who brought different piss to a piss test. What a guy. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a good one.